Deep in the heart of every cult, of every culture in human history, is a recipe, an identity, a pattern of thinking, feeling, speaking, doing, and being. And each cult, each culture in human history creates a probability field. Number of people committing suicide per thousand. Number of people who feel proud and excited with their daily life per thousand. Number of people who will live over 60 per thousand. Number of people. Every cult produces a probability field that can be measured by statistics. However, almost none of the people in the history of the planet have had the opportunity to hack the data of their cult, to understand side by side which protocols produce which statistics. Because while every cult in human history has been unique and produced a unique probability field at a given moment in time for their people, every cult has also lied. Every cult tells the next generation, ours is the only way to do things. Ours is the right way. Ours is the way that you should live your life because we said so, because it is. There's a self-referential loop in every cult. And this pattern of thinking, feeling, speaking, doing, and being, regardless of its basis in science or superstition or outdated ideas, shapes the future, delivers the equation: how much energy, time, money, and natural resources does it take in this cult to create how much sustainable well-being per citizen, per member of the cult. And because so very little of every cult of the 10,000 cultures in human history, estimated by anthropologists, each of which proclaim to their people, we have the right way of doing things, because so little of what we pass down from one generation to the next is founded in data, is the most direct path for spending time, money, and natural resources to deliver the highest yield of sustainable well-being. Now, as a member of the American cult, I'm 46 years old as I sit before you. Not one human being, not a partner, not a lover, not a child, not a teacher, not a therapist, not a parent, not a government official, not one single person has ever asked the 100 most important questions to ask anyone to understand what they're dealing with, to understand their patterns, to understand how much energy, time, money, and natural resources are being spent habitually to deliver how much sustainable human well-being, emotionally, mentally, and physically. No one has asked, and no one has listened. And so neither I nor anyone else in my cult has the data to examine the correlation between protocol and well-being, to evaluate the level of intelligence measured by the efficiency with which energy is transformed into sustainable well-being. In a don't ask, don't tell protocol, willful ignorance leads to criminal negligence, where we spend vast amounts of time, money, and natural resources to increase unnecessary suffering and bypass low-hanging fruit, opportunities to spend less and gain more sustainable well-being. In a real protocol of education, this is the most fundamental area to consider, to think about. Prior to sending 100 people to form the first base on Mars, the first moon base, the first space colony, prior to investing $10 billion in infrastructure that can be blown up by one jealous spouse, it behooves us to understand ourselves with the same passion with which we seek to understand the world out there. The science of the psyche, the science of the cult, is as important as the science of bringing the DNA of Earth to life on other celestial bodies. We need data. The question then becomes one of network. How do you get enough data, enough people to answer the questions to reveal the statistical pattern? My answer, curiosity. Curiosity. The biggest currency on the planet today is information. The most important patterns to understand in the history of the planet, in the history of the species, is what is the least amount of energy, time, money, and natural resources that can be used to generate the most amount of sustainable well-being for self and others. A competent education brings that data to light, gathers, organizes, shares, and iterates that subject. The most important subject, the subject that drives every single human behavior in the history of the species. The desire to feel sustainably better and avoid feeling chronically worse. Every human behavior links to that drive. To feel sustainably better and avoid feeling chronically worse. As the few scientists granted a little bit of funding have discovered, most Americans have it wrong. Offer an American a chance to get paid overtime or an extra hour of sleep, the American, the capitalist in a capitalist cult, will pick the money. The data, they will be happier with the extra hour of sleep. When the map is wrong, and we know so little that we don't even understand that we're using inaccurate maps to pursue this quest for sustainable well-being. When the map is wrong, we spend energy, time, money, and natural resources to go in the wrong direction. And we hit dead ends. $1 million app fueled by curiosity. Pay to play. You want to know how many people are depressed in your town? Answer the question. On a 1 to 10 scale, how depressed are you? And metadata is generated. You want to know what someone finds as the best solution to confronting sexual abuse by a family member? Pay to play. What's going on in your world? Enter the metadata and open up the statistics provided by your fellow curious species. You want to know how many people are bored and want to play cards in your town tonight. Answer the question. Are you bored? Yes or no, 1 to 10. Do you want to play cards tonight? Pay to play with the most valuable currency on earth, which is data, can generate statistical probability fields that we have never seen on the planet to date. For free, we can get maps about the most important questions and answers, and can start to see how state by state, county by county, town by town, country by country, different memes, different identities, patterns of thinking, feeling, speaking, doing, and being lead to different probability fields. And given the innate drive to feel better and avoid feeling worse, and the access to better data than anyone can provide today by a factor of 10, we can accelerate human evolution. We can learn best practices by the people all around the globe who are feeling sustainably better and avoiding feeling chronically worse, while spending less energy, less time, money, and natural resources than ourselves. We can compete to become more intelligent by learning who is doing a better job at playing life's game.